Welcome to the Deep Dive. Our mission today, it's a pretty crucial one. We're going to unpack the source material that's emerged around Charlie Kirk's legacy, right after his assassination. We're really focusing on this immediate, intense debate over who gets to authentically pick up the microphone in his name. Oh, it's a stunning thing to watch in real.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is Kirk's core legacy. That's the context for judging any successor, right? He was really trying to shift things away from that rigid partisanship. It wasn't just Republicans good, Democrats bad. He was pushing for alignment based on actual policy, on foundational values. That sort of anti-establishment foundation is exactly why this scramble now is so tricky.
That's really the tension, isn't it? Right there in our sources. The question popped up almost instantly. Is it way too soon to even talk about a successor? And these figures stepping forward, are they authentic or just opportunistic? Let's dig into the main controversy here, the one surrounding this 19-year-old activist, Brian Hollyand.
Right. So just days after the tragedy, Brian announces this whirlwind 10-stop speaking tour, going across college campuses, hitting up various TPUSA chapters. He really positioned himself right away as the voice moving things forward.
And the intelligence we've seen suggests he used promotional graphics that, well, they look strikingly similar to the official organization-sponsored tours, the kind they do for big names like Morgan McMichael or Riley Gaines.
Yeah, exactly.
But the internal chatter, the stuff from inside, reveals TPUSA headquarters was not sponsoring. Not at all.
Which is interesting because the TPUSA chapters, the college and high school ones, they have a lot of autonomy. So headquarters might send out official people, sure, but these individual chapters were apparently inviting Brian on their own. It created this powerful public image of organizational backing, but without any actual central sign-off.
Okay, so that alone stirred things up quite a bit. But the perception problem really blew up with Brian's visual presentation. Our sources spent a lot of time focusing on his alleged eagerness. There's footage of him smiling during TV interviews where the graphic on screen is literally noting Kirk's death.
And that's just such a powerful contradiction, isn't it? On one hand, we have reports suggesting this might just be aggressive media training, smile when the camera hits you, that kind of. But it shows a fundamental lack of judgment, the sort of common sense you'd expect in a moment of national tragedy that should probably override any media training. As one source put it, it felt like the polished opportunity kind of failed the test of authenticity.
And then there's the accusation that he's a rich kid from Alabama using his parents' private jet for the tour. That really amplified the perception issue, and that's where we hit this real internal disconnect within TPUSA itself.
Right, because externally, you see TPUSA, and it looks highly structured. Huge conferences, financial audits, they feature massive political figures, even the president. Internally, though, the sources say the organization still kind of sees itself as that scrappy team from the early 2010s. They operate with this grassroots attitude, big chip on their...
And why does that internal view matter so much?
Well, because the accusations about Brian being wealthy, using a private jet that clashes hard with TPUSA's internal, humble self-image. So, unsurprisingly, the leadership reaction was split right away.
Yeah, you saw Charlie's right-hand man, Andrew Colvett, offering prayer and support, basically saying the work has to go on.
But then you contrast that with someone like leader Tyler Boyer. He voiced significant skepticism. Boyer apparently detailed Brian's past political work, noting he was paid by the former RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel. And that detail matters a lot because it potentially ties Brian back to the traditional established RNC structure, which is exactly the kind of rigid partisanship Charlie Kirk was trying from.
Okay, so if Hollyand represents this sort of polished, well-funded opportunity, maybe linked to the establishment, where's that scrappy grassroots ethos that Kirk actually preached? Our sources point to another group. Reportedly, they're much more aligned with Kirk's true vision, the Fearless Debate Tour.
Yeah, this tour, run by three guys, Cam Higbee, David Cate, and Lance Videos, they seem to epitomize that original grassroots struggle. Their whole image isn't private jets, like low-cost tables at events, provocative signs, and famously duct-taped microphone. Their visible posture is all about intellectual grit, which really mirrors Kirk's origins and TPUSA's internal self.
So pulling it all together, the synthesis seems pretty clear from the sources.
Yeah.
There probably won't be another single Charlie Kirk. That's not happening.
No.
But the legacy has to be picked up. And the key differentiator, according to these internal memos we've seen, it seems to be about attitude and posture, not really about the timing.
Yeah, it sounds like the movement might need both. The eager, polished types like Brian Hollyand to, access certain circles maybe, and also the humble, scrappy debate tours to keep that grassroots credibility. It's a balance.
So why should you, the listener, care about this deep dive?
Well, because this whole struggle, it really reveals the playbook, doesn't it? How a political movement grapples with authenticity versus expediency when looking for a successor. It's kind of a template for judging any leadership transition.
Absolutely. We've looked at the sources, the facts as reported.
Yeah.
But that brings us to our final thought, something for you to maybe mull over.
Given how much value Charlie Kirk apparently placed on internal values over just external party label, which figure do you think ultimately best embodies the values he actually sought to inspire? Is it the polished, well-funded activist, maybe with those RNC ties, or is it the humble, grassroots debater with a duct-taped microphone? Something to consider.
Thanks for diving deep with us. We'll catch you next time.